She'd never... the hell with it. Ernie got 2 decks of cards from a suit coat pocket. He squinted at the decks, then slipped the marked one back into the pocket. Ernie always made it a point to carry a marked deck. A slickster in Reno had shown him how to doctor the cards so that only an expert could tell, and then only by looking closely. He broke the seal on the straight deck and dealt himself a hand of solitaire. He always played fair with himself. 2 minutes after he'd switched on the desk lamp, tilting the yellowed shade to take the glare off the cards, he was lost in that intensity of concentration that only a devout gambler can achieve. After losing 3 games in a row, he pushed the cards away and rubbed his tired eyes. That was when someone knocked on the door. Ernie sat paralyzed, not only by fear of Carl Atwater, but by fear of what all gamblers regard as their enemy, the unexpected. The unexpected was what gave the dice a final, unlikely tumble, what caused the favorite horse to stumble on the far turn, what filled inside straights for novice poker players. This time, what the unexpected did was the worst it had ever done to Ernie. It delivered 2 very large, businesslike individuals to his hotel room. They had a key, and when their knock wasn't answered, they had opened the door and walked right in. They were big men, all right, but in the tiny room, and contrasted with Ernie's frailness, they appeared gigantic. The larger of the 2, a lantern-jawed ex-pug type with a pushed-in nose and cold blue eyes, smiled down at Ernie. It wasn't the sort of smile that would melt hearts. His partner, a handsome dark-haired man with what looked like a knife scar down one cheek, stood wooden-faced. It was the smiling man who spoke. "I guess you know that Carl Atwater sent us," he said. He had a deep voice that suited his immensity. Ernie swallowed a throatful of marbles. His heart ran wild. But how could anyone know I was here? I just checked in." "Carl knows lots of desk clerks in hotels all over the city," the smiler said. "Soon as you checked in, we heard about it, and Carl thought you rated a visit." He grinned wider and lazily cracked his knuckles. The sound in the small room was like a string of exploding firecrackers. "Don't dummy up on us, Ernie. You know what kind of visit this is." Ernie stood up without thinking about it, knocking his chair over backward. Hey, wait a minute. I mean, Carl and I are old buddies, and all I owe him is an even $1,000. I mean, you got the wrong guy. Check with Carl. Just do me that favor." "It's precisely because you only owe $1,000 that we're here," the dark one said. "Too many people owe Carl small sums, Welshers like yourself. You're going to be an example for the rest of the petty four-flushers, Ernie. It'll be a bad example. They won't want to follow it. They'll pay their debts instead, and that will add up to a lot of money." "There ain't no good ways to die," the smiler said. "But some ways is worse than others." Both men moved toward Ernie slowly, as if wanting him to fully experience his dread. Ernie glanced at the door, too far away. "Just check with Carl, please," he pleaded mindlessly, backpedaling on numbed legs. He was trembling. The bone crushers kept advancing. The window was behind Ernie, but he was 12 stories above the street. The Fleabag room wasn't air-conditioned, so the window was open about 6 inches. Corner a rat and watch it instinctively choose the less immediate danger. Ernie whirled and flung himself at the window. He snagged a fingernail in the faded lace curtain, felt the nail rip as he hurled the window all the way open. The smiler grunted and lunged at him, but Ernie scampered outside onto the ledge with speed that amazed. A gargantuan hand emerged from the open window. Ernie shuffled sideways to avoid it. He pressed his quaking body back against the brick wall and stared upward at the black night sky, the stiff summer breeze whipping at his unbuttoned suit coat. The smiler took his huge head out the window. He studied the narrowness of the ledge on which Ernie was balanced, stared down at the street 12 stories below. He exposed a mouthful of crooked teeth and laughed a rolling, phlegmy rumble. The laugh was vibrant with emotion, but not humor. "I told you some ways to die was worse than others," he said. "You're part worm, not part bird." He pulled his head back inside and shut the window. Ernie got a glimpse of sausage-sized fingers turning the lock. "Be calm," he told himself. "Be calm." He was trapped on the ledge, but his situation was much improved over what it had been a few minutes ago. Then he really began to analyze his predicament. The concrete ledge he was poised on was only about 6 inches wide, not the place to go for a walk in his dress.